Let's look at how to complete a reading moderation at Lion. Let's start by thinking about the purpose of moderation.
We want to achieve these 4 things. 1. Identify the gaps in learning. 2. Sequence a series of lessons that cater to all groups. 3. Identify target skills for our focus groups. And 4. Identify off-track children and their specific needs. Using the QLA, identify the gaps in learning. In reading, this will be looking at the content domains that are set out in the national curriculum. These are separated into Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. It is important to note though that the content domain 2H, which is to make comparisons within books, is only applicable to Year 3 greater depth and up. Now let's use the QLA to find the domain that will need to be prioritized. As you can see, summarizing, although only one question is the strongest area for the set, these two have the lowest percentage. However, we must also consider that this only accounts for 1 mark, so it would not be a key focus unless there is evidence in books that this needs to be a focus. One area that sticks out is inference, which forms a large chunk of the test. Based on these percentages, inference would be the most sensible choice to teach in the next sequence. Remember that this is the curriculum statement, not the learning intention. Let's now look at the test, the QLA, and books to support with the planning of specific objectives. So these are some of the inference questions that the children were getting wrong in the paper and books. They are all asking about a character's thoughts, feelings, and motives based on their actions, based on what has happened in the text. The children have answered the questions literally, as though it is how they would act if they were in the character's position. So, we can now look at the curriculum statement, and determine what needs to be taught, using the progression doc to support with the development and phrasing of objectives. Here, you can then list the sequence of objectives that develop over time. You should apply these skills in different texts so that there is a broad range of exposure to the skill in different contexts. From this, the success criteria can be written. Finally, any required differentiation based on the different groups of children in your class should be added, ensuring that each group has a bespoke sequence of learning tailored to their needs, not one size fits all. Let's start with a reminder of what a focus group is. A focus group is for a small group of children, delivered daily, and planned for based on their areas of need. This is different from the main learning. Just as demonstrated in the overview of how to create the objective from the curriculum statement, the planning for these groups are created in an almost identical way. First, identify the area of need based on the information from the QLA. Then, check the test papers and books for how the group answered those types of questions. Finally, use this to support the writing of the learning intention. Remember, this should not be a curriculum statement. Now we must plan and consider provisions for any off-track children. When children are off track, this means that they are not yet at their attainment target. Their score and/or evidence in their books will indicate this. Your planning needs to be clear about what you are going to do to address this. So, let's recap. 1. Identify the gaps. 2. Sequence lessons to cater to all needs. 3. Plan for focus groups. And 4. Identify and plan for off-track pupils.